Video. There we go. Oh, Franklin.
How's Idaho?
Yeah, oh, well, it's a little chilly right now. I think we had a high of 28 today.
Oh, that's pretty cold.
Well, not in the house, though.
Oh, no. We had a snowy weekend, or a snowy end of the week, a little bit anyway, just a dusting actually, but some people had a lot of snow. I guess Washington had a lot more snow.
Uh-huh. Oh, yes. Well, there we are. So, well, it looks like we're going to get, it's going to be one of those years where we get snow and it hangs around for a while. So I suppose there's probably, I don't know, 6, 8 inches out there. And it'll, for the next week, the temperatures won't get above freezing. So probably not going to go away.
I see you got a revolver there, the single action.
Oh, yes.
I never heard that
almost 50 years ago.
Oh, wow.
There we are. Yeah. So I was living in San Diego, and I was in the Navy, and my wife and I went over to the Marine Corps recruit depot to do some shopping, and she bought some pots and pans, and I saw the revolver for $100, and I think it was $105. So I bought it. So, but it's not good for much. And a guy gave me the holster, so I'll probably give it to my grandson.
Oh, there you go.
What caliber is it, Bob?
Oh, it's a 22, and has a long rifle cylinder, and then a Magnum cylinder.
Oh, is that Smith and Wesson?
No, Colt.
Oh, Colt. I
Yeah.
think that's probably a fairly desirable gun with the interchangeable cylinder.
Well, like I say, it's 50 years old, and my brother, he deals in guns, wanted to sell it for me, but I think I'll just wait and give it away to my grandson.
Well, ever since Alec Baldwin shot that producer, I heard more about single actions than anything. people have come out of the woodwork to talk about how it couldn't be possible to go off without him pulling the trigger.
Right. Yes, and I didn't hear a whole lot about that, but when the movie The Postman was made, it was a Kevin Costner movie. They were up at a Portland General Electric hydroelectric plant. And so I was up there for as a safety watch. And they had a contractor that was in charge of all the weapons. And he loaded them, he handled them, and he handed them to the actors. And so nobody loaded them on their own. He did that. So something had to go terribly wrong. There
Yep.
was no live ammunition on the site. So I only heard a little bit about it, and I'm not sure if everything's come out about it, but we're here to talk about radios.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. We got,
Hi.
a bunch, we got a bunch of kid people there.
Yeah, I've got a
Um,
quick question for Lyles, if we can get that before we start.
I'm here.
Lyles, on the email, what do you think about joining with PSARA on their swap meet?
Well, do I have a vote anymore, or has Dan got my vote?
Well, it's still before the end of the year, so I just thought I'd
Oh.
include you.
Yeah, I vote for it. It sounds like a good idea to me.
Okay, all right, sounds good. I'll make an announcement and see if anyone wants a free table at the show. Thanks, Lyles.
You're welcome.
Are you talking about the phonograph show on the 15th, Pat?
Yeah. OTAP's paid for the slot, arranged it, did all that stuff, for the Abernathy Grange. And now they're coming back and they're all scared of the, COVID-19 and insurance.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. And so I think they're just going to drop off and not, be there. But if we,
There, that's better.
we can go in with them and kind of help boost their numbers up, because they've got, I think, only like about 10 tables at the Grange. And I think a couple of those people are going to drop off because they're afraid of COVID and all that kind of stuff. So we could step in. It's free to us. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't just, try to make an event go. Otherwise, who knows how many people of theirs will show up. They've already got Craigslist out. It's already on their website. So if we can join with them, I think that'll make it a go.
Are there any of the members of their club going to want tables or?
Yeah, there's only about 10 tables there spoken for. But like I said, I think some of those members are going to give up their tables because of COVID and all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
So
Okay.
if we can show up and maybe help booster up a couple numbers, maybe it actually might work out okay. Like I say, all the tables are free. They've already paid for everything. So we would be able to come in and get free tables. But, it's a limited number.
Okay. Sounds like fun.
Sounds like a good opportunity.
Yeah, we may be able to join forces with them. If they have a show, maybe we could go in with them and vice versa. There might be more and better, better sales with more members and more people showing up. Which reminds me, we don't have a swap meet coordinator anymore, right? Didn't Robbie say that was his last year?
It was his last show. Yeah.
Last show, yeah. So he said that we didn't sell all the tables last time. So if maybe we can entice other clubs to join us, and maybe we can, fill it up.
Yeah, the
What
joint idea does make sense.
What
Long
about
ways from Seattle, though.
the OTAP people, and then also, yeah, the PSARA people? Any of them want to come down and get a table or something?
The more the merrier.
Did David Allen show up last week? Because
I was invited by Bob, Pat, or what's his name?
oh,
the
there you
guy
are.
The guy that kind
Franklin.
of schedules all the radios and stuff.
Yeah,
Pat,
Franklin.
I think his name.
Okay. Okay, great to see you there, Mr. Allen. Did you have any thoughts on how you wanted to sell your collection?
Oh, I'm thinking more about it. Yeah, I
Okay.
still want to sell it. Yes, that's kind of my long-term goal.
Sounds good.
You know, it's kind of getting saturated, you know, the market. All
Well, I
these people-
think he's got some, I think he's got some items that would generate a lot of interest.
Yeah, well,
1 or 2, maybe.
Yeah, Bruce just isn't buying enough radios these days.
no, I'm not. I've got
You
a
got
wife that takes up most of the basement, you know?
I see Dan Howard there. Dan, I'm just kind of curious how your audio is today. You have to turn it on.
Here.
Yeah. Well, the reason I was saying something, it's still kind of down, and the other, I forget who it was, but somebody found a control and it was way too loud. And so there might be an adjustment you can make on your Zoom to turn up your microphone sensitivity, so we can hear you better when you do talk. Because you know, in the past when you and your dad have been on there, it's been real hard to hear you. And so I was just thinking that there's a sensitivity adjustment you might be able to do on your end to on Zoom to help with that.
Thank you. I'll look into it.
Just yell at us.
Hey, maybe you can hire Blake to fix it.
No, Blake doesn't do that stuff anymore. I work for the power company now.
How's that going, Blake?
Wonderful.
A whole different thing working for the feds, isn't it?
It is, and if I had known it was like this, HP would have never gotten 25 years out of me.
No, I know. It's the same thing in the state, except the state, they'd always refer to, they'd always say how we're being underpaid because they use you guys as a benchmark.
I have no complaints about the wages, and the only thing that seems weird to me is for 25 years, if I needed to work an extra 20 or 30 hours some week, that was perfectly fine. Working as a Fed now, I have to report all of that, and they have to pay me for it, even though I'm salaried. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way it was the state. We were quote unquote, well, it's for budgeting. They consider you to be salaried, expecting you're going to put in a standard amount of hours, but it was the same thing when the state, they paid us overtime when we worked overtime. It's just that they budget, that's how they think of things. That FTE is X amount of money and X amount of benefits, and that's how they budget things. So
So my son worked for HP for a while, and then he was away for a while, and no raises. Now he's back at HP, and all of a sudden they're applying raises again.
it's because I left, and they got a whole bunch of extra money.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they were very good to me in my retirement. I have no complaints about HP, but I am enjoying working for BPA.
Good. Well, you gotta like what you're doing, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I didn't like what I was doing at HP when I retired, so
Oh, okay.
this is a really good change.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
So Franklin, we're going to start with the topic tonight.
Sure. The topic's TVs. Does anybody have any TVs to talk about?
I
Bruce?
watched TV before.
I've got a,
I grew up on TV.
yeah,
We had a tube, a Philips tube television got from Payless. And it was a floor model. My dad requested not to get the floor model. Apparently we got the floor model and it broke down quite often.
What brand was it?
Philips, I believe.
Oh, Phillips. Yeah, you said that. Okay. That's interesting.
When
No,
we
it's
were growing up,
Payless.
we had an RCA table or a floor model, and that was all black and white, and that's all I grew up with.
Yeah, same here. Ours was RCA too. It was a floor model. It wasn't like designed like a console all the way to the ground. It was just like a box with long legs on it, and it was an RCA.
Yeah, I've got a 1946 RCA with the 7-inch CRT. I bought that from Goodwill back in the, it would have probably been early 60s. And
wow.
Anyway, I got that running and it's still running today. And I got a 1950 Motorola with the screen. I wish I could show it, but it's in the other room. Anyway,
Can't just carry it in and show us?
yeah, right. Anyway, my uncle-in-law lives in LA and he refurbishes old travel trailers. Anyway, he's got a couple of them that he vacations in all the time. And anyway, what he wanted to do is put a TV in there, but you know, it had to kind of fit the time. And somehow he was in Aurora at one of our sales and he bought this TV from Sonny. And I didn't know he was up here at that time, but anyway, he was going through Aurora and picked that baby up. And anyway, a few years later, well, you know, he was going to cut the thing back, you know, make it maybe 4 inches deep and put a flat screen in it, you know. Anyway, that never happened. And so he finally gave it to me. And so I got it up and running and God, it works great. The biggest problem was a piece of coax that took the vertical oscillator over to the vertical amplifier that was shorted.
Oh.
It was, you know, it had rubber insulation in it and the damn coax shorted. Anyway, Sonny was over here one day and he says, "That's my TV. I want it." Anyway, I've been trying to pry it out of me for years, but I haven't given away. Another one I have, but this is a battery powered JVC. I was going to work on the CRT. I was doing linearity. I've got to get a cap changed. The linearity is not too good yet.
Oh, but, wow, that's nice.
Yeah, it's and there's your connections for your battery compartment underneath.
Oh.
They were rechargeable lead acid B cells that were in it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's got this little antenna that, oh, it's maybe that tall, but it goes way out there, you know. Right now it's screwed off, not screwed on, but anyway. So I had trouble with this early on. This was many years ago, and couldn't find a schematic for it. And so I wrote JVC, and by God, the president mimeographed
Wow.
schematic and sent it to me and apologized that I was having trouble with his TV.
Gee, what size batteries does it take, Bruce?
It takes like 10 D cells.
Oh.
Okay. Another one. Lift it up. That one's a little heavier. But anyway, this is an RCA. And you push the little button here and pops up the.
Wow.
I remember those. Those were cool.
That's a space age design.
Yeah, well, we used it in the travel trailer for a number of years, and I just couldn't get rid of it. It still works. Again, this has a little linearity problem too. It's not too severe, but I'm sure it's a dried up electrolytic. And the JVC had quite a number of dried up electrolytics. Anyway, that's
How
Yeah,
much is
nice.
it gonna cost to get 10 D cells? Isn't that a lot of money now for 10 D
I don't
cells?
think it's that bad.
Well, they were lead acid, so
Oh,
they're 2 volts per instead of 1.5.
instead of
Yeah.
1.5. Ooh,
Yeah, those are, it's probably made like by Gates, and those are real good cells. I had
Yeah,
some of my
yeah. Mhm.
I had some of my IFR test equipment lasted 20 years before I had to replace the first set of them. They're excellent,
Wow.
excellent quality.
Now,
Let's see if I
They're
can.
still working, even after 20 years.
my little TV only takes 4 AA's, but it does have a very big screen.
One more
It's
is
color.
over there. You can see the little CRT. Anyway, that's a pilot.
That's a TV 37.
Yeah, and those sold for $99.
First television, I think under $100.
Yep.
I've got one of those in my living room in perfect working condition on a converter.
So do you have a spare CRT?
Well, it depends.
Depends.
I do have a spare CRT for mine, and what I don't remember is whether it's a blue tube or a green tube. But the one I have is in good working condition, and it's a blue tube. So.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
But
Yeah.
I have that, and I have a 49 Philco with believe a 7-inch screen, and then I have a 52 or 53 RCA with a big 11 or 12-inch tube in it. Oh, and a Panasonic, which has the smallest screen of any of them that I've got.
Yeah.
This one, believe it or not, the television works, and the FM radio works, and it's the AM radio that doesn't work in it.
Well, you're not missing much there.
Nope.
no.
So anyway, the pilot, it has a bunch of 3 ohm resistors in series with heaters. It's all series strung. And every one of those was way off. And then I found that I could get a little something on the raster, but not much. And
There's not much anode to work with.
well, it's got an open grid or cathode in it. Anyway, externally, I took the heater supply and I jacked it up to about 11 volts, and then bong, 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 and all of a sudden, bing, comes on, you know? But then when you turn it off and back on, well, that connection breaks loose again. So so it's just a pain in the ass to try and even do some alignment. But I do have a pretty good picture when I can get that up and going. Now, I also have a 48 Philco projection set, and it works pretty good. Well, last time I had it running was about 40 years ago, but it's buried in my in one of the rooms. I don't have room to display it. It's too big.
I think my Philco's a 49 1000. Does that ring a bell, Bruce?
No.
Or maybe it's I think it's 48 1000. But it kind of a square box, and the picture tube portion of it's larger than the rest of it. So it's kind of got a square area with a tube and then a step down for the rest of the cabinet.
Oh, well, this is a projection set.
Oh, okay. Mine's a standard tube type.
So it's got a, I don't know, it's like a 5-inch CRT with a parabolic mirror behind it. That faces the lower rear area. And then you got the parabolic mirror in front of it that reflects it to the front side cabinet, where there's a mirror that then reflects it up onto the screen, which is hinged up.
Oh, neat.
Anyway, it's got a high voltage tripler in there to get enough voltage to get enough brightness to make this thing work. And so way back when, this would have been in the 70s, I took a Polaroid film pack and put it in front of that CRT for about an hour. And when I went to develop the Polaroid, it was well developed from X-rays. So anyway, but the X-rays are going down toward the floor and away from you for the most part. But That's what happens when you put too much accelerating voltage on a CRT.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
My goodness.
Your modern CRTs had lead in the glass, which absorbed the X-rays. This was before they worried about it.
Bruce, is that the first commercially available projection TV?
RCA had one also, and I'm not sure.
K-Part had one early on.
There were a couple of them that came out around that era. I don't know that it was the first. Also, the tuner is set up so that you got a VHF high and a VHF low input from the antenna. And so you could get your antenna matched better for the low band and the high band. Anyway, it's got AGC and AFC and you name it.
I don't want to interrupt, but I want to say hi to Linda from PSARA. Hi, Linda. So everybody say hi. She's the secretary.
Oh, hi, Linda.
Aloha. Boy.
Glad you can make it. And it looks like we have a Carl. I don't know if he's new or not. Anybody know Carl? You can say hi to Carl.
Hi, Carl.
All right, this is great. Anybody else want to talk about their TV?
I don't have one.
Here.
I bet Franklin has a Sony.
Well, there's Pat got one.
I got this one. This is one of those unisons. I got this off the free table because no one wanted it, but you know, I really can't tell if it works too good because there's nothing to tune in. So I have a question. Is there a way that you can take the converters that you got from the government and use that to broadcast the signal, you know, to your TVs in your house?
Wouldn't need necessarily to broadcast it, just connect the usually channel 2 or channel 3 output.
Right.
Directly.
That's so you need one converter per TV and they have to move around. I was thinking, is there a way to maybe take the signal that's coming out that converter and broadcast it through your house so you can watch TV on, you know?
That's what Sonny does.
Oh, Sonny knows how to do that?
Yeah, well, basically you had these line amplifiers, you know, that were set up for multiple TVs and things like that. And you just feed your signal in there and the output, feed it into an antenna and end up rebroadcasting it as long as you're not too far away.
Yeah.
I've done that here also.
So Bruce, what do I need? I need
You need an amplifier.
A CATV line amplifier.
Yeah. Oh, there. What you got there, Mark?
This is a RCA digital to analog converter. And on the output, it has one is your antenna in, the other is output to TV, and then a channel 3, channel 4 switch between analog channel 3 and channel 4. So with one of these digital converters, an external antenna and a coax going from your this box to your television, you tune it to channel 3 or 4, whichever you select, and you can watch the digital TV on your analog set.
So what Sonny and I have done is we put an external amplifier on the end of that.
And then this here is an RCA portable
Ah, nice.
analog.
I think what Bruce is saying is that, see, like some of the company, when they had your cable antenna systems, especially if you, or even at, I helped a neighbor live behind me in the mountains, put up an antenna up on the mountain on the top of their property at 200 acres. And then they had line amplifiers to strengthen the signal to make it down to the coax to the house. And so something like that has a significantly higher output than, say, your converter. So that's what Bruce is talking about, getting an actual line amplifier that has some, it's designed to drive a long cable and stuff, will drive an antenna for a farther distance. And
Here's one right here. So you got a input on this side and you got 4 outputs. And basically it's a line amplifier that increases the signal strength significantly. And you can just bring one of these out and make an antenna. Or if you've got an antenna, I just use the twin lead, spread apart like an FM antenna. And that works pretty good.
Ooh, where can I get one of those, Bruce?
I don't know. I suppose eBay would have them.
yep, you still can buy line amplifiers for antennas too.
Yeah.
I mean, for over-the-air antennas. So
Anyway, this happened to be a wine guard.
yeah, WineGuard's a Channel Master. WineGuard are still in business, and you could probably find an amplifier that's got a little bit more ump to it than say just a El Cheapo one like you should get from Radio Shack.
Are they
So
are they selling new ones today, Mark?
Yes. Oh yeah.
This
Should get
This
on
is a-
Amazon maybe.
Yeah.
indoor antenna amplifier pretty much does the same thing. But mostly it will work on the digital channels, not on the older analog, although I think it will
It'll work
probably
on both
fine on that.
because it's an analog amp. Because the digital is essentially QAM, which is a digital AM signal. So their analog amps are what they are. And I have a local antenna that they get translators out of Maui, which is 70 miles away, and I have an amplifier up by the antenna to help with the signal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of marketing hype with these. This
yeah.
claims to be full HD compatible.
Yeah, it's all BS.
I mean, yeah, it's an amplifier is an amplifier. It depends on what the cutoff and the band
Right.
pass is on it.
Yeah. Well, the new ones would hopefully cut off at the end of the TV channels, the new ones, because so they're not amplifying the the cellular frequencies now, because they're up in the upper channels. The 5G stuff now occupies some of the old the higher UHF channels that they've taken off the air. So
Yeah, right.
some of it does.
Wasn't 3G LTE supposed to eliminate that because it was a long term something or another?
I'm not sure where the 3G was, but
And then they went to 4G and now 5G, and I
Yeah.
have no idea
Yeah.
where it's going to go after that.
yeah. Well, the 5G, some of it's around 700 megs, 800 megs, not 800, but 700 megs. There's some 5G stuff. And then they also have other frequencies that are up, I think, around 4 gigs or something like that. So it's not just one frequency band.
Yeah, but the 5G is not that fast when it's on the lower band.
Right. I wouldn't expect it. It's not, the bandwidth's not there.
No.
Right.
So their hype that they keep putting on 5G really isn't there for the most part.
Yeah. Well, if you got a small cell and you're running the 3 or 4 gigs, whatever it is, which is near the ground radar for aircraft now. That's a new worry, that they might just end up jamming the autopilot radar system for the new modern planes so they can land in the fog. Oops.
Anyway, as long as you don't have to transmit it very far, just a little whip antenna off of an amplifier will, get you, 10, 20 feet real easy.
So I have a question, Bruce. So you can buy those DVD players, right? That you put your cable into it, and then it'll have an output to your TV also through coaxial cable.
Most DVD players or Blu-ray players don't have an RF output.
I thought I've seen them where they have you can run a coax from there to your.
You'll find some older ones that will do that, but most of the newer ones are HDMI output only.
Or their RCA cables.
Yeah.
I was wondering, can a person just take one of those and just put an antenna off of that? And, if your TV is sitting right next, in the same room, would it be able to pick up that as a signal?
Yeah.
So-
As
All
long
of
as it's
these-
got the channel 5 or 4 output.
Yeah, so what we did over at Sonny's place is we bought a 24 dB inline Herald amplifier and put it on channel 3 and literally used rabbit ears as the transmission antenna. So he came out of the back. Now he has a DVD player, it's not a Blu-ray, but he comes out on channel 3 and we run through a 24 dB amplifier and straight into an antenna. No problem at all broadcasting across the room and works fine. That's how he broadcasts in his showroom.
Mhm.
That's a good idea.
Most VCRs have channel 3 and 4 output, but most of the DVD or the Blu-rays nowadays, you don't get any RF out.
All right.
It's all right. I love Lucy. Looks as good out of a DVD as it does out of a Blu-ray on a 80-year-old television.
Yeah.
Probably even off a VHS tape.
Well, I don't know. A lot of the VHS tapes weren't all that great.
It'd be a Betamax, right?
Super Beta Hi-Fi.
Yeah, there we go.
That was my poor man's reel-to-reel tape player in college. Couldn't afford a 10.5 inch or a 10-inch unit. They were too expensive.
Does anybody need any reel-to-reel tape recorders?
Oh, where's Jerry Hertel when we need him?
Yeah,
He's our reel-to-reel guy, and he's plugged into the audio group here in the Portland area.
Yeah, what is it?
Husband has about 20 of them.
Do you have some pre-recorded music, Linda?
Send reel-to-reel. Not recorded music, players.
Ah.
But he does have some recorded music, yeah.
I'm
We used
interested.
to have- We used to have a large collection of old time radio on reel-to-reel.
That would be cool.
oh, wow, that'd be nice.
And well, most of it's gone.
So
So yeah,
Pat, or Franklin, did we think about maybe inviting that audio group to our next swap meet, or
Is that the
Um,
Triode Society or
is that what they are?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the name of it. Jerry would know. I think he's called it the Tube Group or Triode Society. That's right.
Triode Society?
Yeah.
Okay. And then isn't there an audiophile group too, or a hi-fi club or something like that, I thought? Or not? I might be mistaken about that one.
I think so. Maybe we could ask Jerry or Bill.
Yeah.
And we also have a couple of amateur radio clubs in the area. What I'm concerned about, though, these are all great ideas, but we haven't circled back to the need for a coordinator, and that could
Yeah.
come around to bite us.
That's right. That's true, Dan. Have to find, again, here we are with, without somebody in one of our volunteer positions.
Yeah, it's hard enough to find board members for the society, so trying to find another position, that might be tough.
Dave,
What have we done in the past to recruit committee members or committee heads?
I think one time we didn't have anyone and we actually didn't have a show. And I think what happened is people got upset because no one volunteered, no one stepped up. So we actually didn't have a show. It was a spring or a fall one. And then someone stepped up. But I think that happened, but I'm not.
I think a phone call was made and somebody was recruited.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So Dave put a chat out there for a 24 dB amplifier, and yeah, that should work. You click on that.
So all we have to do is tell people there's no swap meet in the spring or the fall because no one volunteers, and
Yeah.
then Blake will call someone, and
So in other words, you put the pressure on everybody. Is that it, Pat?
Everybody will step up.
Somebody
Yeah.
else step up and make that phone call this time.
Linda, how do you do it up there? How do you get people to step up?
Call them and tell them they need to step up.
Well, we
Tell
only
them
have
you're
a-
it.
Yeah. No, we have a, we only have an annual swap meet. The outdoor one we hold at the college.
Shoreline.
And,
The one we all look forward to.
Yeah,
yeah, and so do we.
we love that one.
Yeah, well, we've got, our vice president usually is the coordinator of, when they take on that position.
I'll make the motion. Somebody want to second it and then we'll vote.
Anyway,
Thanks, Franklin.
yeah, we've put out the word that we need volunteers, and 5 or 6 of the club members have already, stepped up, to do the assistance that we need for parking and taking money and, all of the little jobs that you need to run the swap meet.
That's great.
Seth, our vice president is Seth Wongmiller. I don't know, you probably, the only people that would have access to him would be through the club newsletter. He's on all of the club officers are on the inside front page of our newsletter. So I don't know if our newsletter gets shared.
It does.
Yeah,
It
it does.
So on the inside front cover of the newsletter is the officer contact information. So if you want to find out what's going on with the swap meet, Seth is our vice president is your contact.
so Linda, is Shoreline available then this year?
We don't know yet. We, Seth has to, put up feelers and see, but, we don't know what's going to happen between now and September.
No.
Or August, rather.
Yeah, August.
It'll be the 3rd Sunday in August, if all goes well. If the college has the venue open, that's number one. We got to make sure that the venue is available. And if it is, then we'll go ahead with the planning, and we're going to bring some information about what we think will happen to the Mike and Key, which is coming up in March.
This year, we all met at Fletcher Anderson's property in Chehalis, which was fine. And that was a good meet. I mean, everybody had a really good time. But and then he's a really, really nice gentleman that owns that property and let everybody in there, both of our clubs in for free. The only downside of that is he's in a very rural area, not even close to the town of Chehalis. I mean, it's close to the town of Chehalis, but it's not in it. And then, so that's the only thing there is you lose some of the local, population that we normally do see people come into Shoreline, when you guys have that swap meet up there.
We get a
But
lot of
that was a lot of fun going to his place, but it was mostly all our club and the Seattle club combined with, I don't think there was much for any outside people coming in.
But Mike, when I was there, I counted at one time there was over 100 people. So that didn't include the people who weren't there or the people who showed up later.
Oh, you said there's 100 people that weren't members of either of our club?
No, there was, I counted, I did a spot check count, and we had over 100 people there. Like I say, that was just a point in time. That didn't include the people who left already or the people who hadn't showed up yet. So I figure it was pretty good.
It was a good meet. We had a lot of fun. We did quite well. We sold radios, bought radios, and saw a lot of the people from the Seattle club and in our club, and just had a great time. It was fun. So if Shoreline falls through in August, then we can always do something, because Fletcher wants us to come back next summer.
Well, we were talking about a joint, you know, like a picnic with both clubs in the summer.
Be fun.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Picnic
Oh, yeah,
slash swap meet slash get
Yeah,
together
yeah.
slash airplane rides or what?
Well, no, we talked about, you guys usually have a picnic
Yeah,
sometime
in July.
July. So,
Yeah.
and we've got a new contract with the Grange now, and they say that if we're not going to use the hall, they want 30 days notice. So with this COVID thing going around, it's difficult. We were talking about that the other day, about we're not going to have a January meeting because it's just too soon after the holidays. There's going to be too much flow. So we're going to take it month by month as to whether we get together in person.
Well,
I think
the 2018 pandemic, it went for 5 years. Although we have things to fight the diseases today, it just doesn't seem we can get around to all getting our shots.
Yeah.
So it may be 5 years before this is over.
Well, we're contemplating putting out the word that, and we've had a couple of members volunteer to be policemen at the door and say, you can't come to the meeting unless you're vaccinated, or proof of we're going to ask for proof of vaccination. So I don't know whether that's going to work or not.
Go to the store the other day, and I saw that handled in a classy way. The guy stood at the door, and if you walked in without a mask, he said, "May I invite you to use this mask of ours?"
Yeah.
He was just getting masks out, but clearly you weren't welcome without a mask.
Yeah, well, we want more than masks. You know, so many of our members, so many of our members are over 65.
Hey, John, can you mute?
Somebody. There it went.
Thanks, Franklin. As you were saying, Linda.
Yeah, we think that's the only thing we can do, to protect our members, is just to say, if you're going to show up, you got to wear a mask, and you better, we want to ask for a proof of vaccination. And we have a few members that probably won't come because of that, but that's fine if they don't wear a mask, and we don't want them there anyway. But
I like that approach.
Yeah, this Snohomish County's got some pretty strong mask mandates, and the Grange is also looking to protect their property.
Sure.
So we got to clean up behind ourselves, which we would do anyway. But yeah, we've been looking. We got kicked out of one place about 10, 12 years ago, maybe longer. I can't remember. It was the Masonic Temple, and the rent was pretty reasonable, but we hold our meetings on Sunday, and they wanted it for wedding venues, so they raised the rent to $1,000.
Oh, oh boy.
Bye.
Yeah.
That in less than a year, our budget would have been gone. I mean, any money we had in the bank would have been disappeared. So we went looking, and we looked, and King County has some pretty strict requirements. Like if you sell something, you have to have a business license.
Really?
Yeah. So if we were going to hold swap meets every meeting, then some of the people would have had to have and collect sales tax. The King County wanted the sales tax. You guys don't have a
Ouch.
sales tax down there.
Goodness sakes.
We've got some pretty overzealous counties that want their sales tax.
Oh, yeah, because they get their separate cut on top of the state sales tax.
Oh, yeah, and the percentage, depending on the county, your sales tax percentages are different. Or city.
Could I interrupt here?
Sure.
Yeah, this is Dave Allen. Two things. I need to go. I'd like to know what your theme is going to be next Wednesday, so maybe I could show you something on that grounds, and then I'll have to leave.
Okay.
What's the next week, Franklin?
Yeah, Franklin.
I think it's records. It's records.
Records?
Yeah. Isn't that
Phonograph
what I put up?
records.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've enjoyed listening to you talk, but I'll see you next Wednesday too, if I don't forget. And I'll have something to do with the records.
Yeah, and bring
All right.
some pictures of your collection so that you might want to rehome.
Yeah, I've got a TV, but I could have brought it, but it's again out in the garage, and it's small, but it's still hefty, and so I didn't want to bring it in. But I'll have something for records tomorrow. Next
Yeah,
time.
and if you bring some pictures of your collection that you want to sell too or rehome, let us look at them.
Okay, I'll do that. Can
Okay.
I
Is
upload
that-
them somewhere?
Yeah, I'll show you how to do that. You can share your screen. So as long as you can show them on your screen, you can show them to everybody.
Yeah, I know how
Okay.
to see on the screen.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you next time with some records.
Okay, Dave. Take care.
We'll see you, Dave.
You have a
Take
good
care.
day.
See you later, Dave.
Oh, hi.
Bye-bye.
We're talking about 78s and that kind of stuff.
Whatever.
Take everything.
Oh, okay.
It could be
Yeah.
33, 78s, 45s.
Vinyl.
About
Well,
16
Vinyl.
My Alma Gluck record.
16-inch transcription discs.
Oh,
Can we
yeah.
show our turntables and all that jazz too, Franklin?
Well, the theme was just records, but you can do whatever you want. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I mean, if the records happen to be on a record player, that's how you show them.
Yeah,
That's
there
right.
you go.
Good place to have them.
Yeah. Well, the 16-inch transcription discs that my husband has collected are old time radio.
Oh, that's cool.
Or
Good
Nice.
AFRS, Air Force retirement, sorry. Air Force,
AFRTS.
they're transcriptions.
Oh, that's neat.
So there's some of them are radio programs, a lot of them are music or plays. We have a complete run of Damon Runyon Theater.
Oh, wow.
So.
So
anyway,
do you have a transcription turntable?
yes,
Good.
yeah, one.
One, yes. That's all you need. They're
Yep.
too big.
Yeah, well, you have to have. It plays like a 33 1/3, but you need an arm that goes across the whole record. So it needs
Yeah.
to be 16 inches, or what's half of that? Whatever.
Yeah.
They fit really nice in pizza boxes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
16-inch large pizza, 16 inches.
Okay.
Cool.
And you have to keep them flat. You can't. Store them on the flat. They have to be stored flat because they're thin.
Yeah, they are.
They'll
A
warm.
friend of mine had a transcription turntable. He died. Now it's trying to find somebody that wanted it. I don't know what's finally happened to it, but it may have been dumped as far as I know. I
Yeah.
just couldn't find anybody interested because, it's an RCA and it's big, it's tall, it takes a lot of room,
Yeah.
but it worked great.
Well, this one, what my husband has is a regular turntable that was converted to 16-inch
Oh, okay.
by a guy that used to work near the University of Washington. His business, he's closed his business because they're going to put the light rail system in up here, and
Okay.
they took out that street.
This one came,
Anyway, He's the only person in Seattle that repaired phonographs.
Wow. This
Yeah,
one
he's
came
gone.
from a radio station. So
Yeah,
it's one of the official. And
Right,
it had lots of
they're huge.
selection.
Those things are huge. Yeah, the ones from the radio stations.
And it
We
had a
had
lot of
two.
selection for vertical groove or the stereo groove. And
Yeah.
you could mix and match to knock the noise down. It was an incredible machine.
And they had, usually the radio stations had two of them
Mhm.
because most of the transcription discs are single-sided. So they'd put side one of the radio program on one transcription discs, and then the second hour or half hour of the 15 minutes or whatever they were doing would be on another one, and then they wouldn't have to flip or take the time to turn the record,
Well, be
change
darned.
the record.
Uh-huh.
All they had to do was just switch between the two players.
The
So,
discs
yeah,
she had were all music.
Well, we've got, say, a good portion of it is music, but some of it is old time radio.
Cool.
Yeah, if you're looking
Very nice.
if you're looking for old time radio programs, there's a website out there called the radiolady.com.
Hmm.
And she sells old time radio, $6 for a CD.
Oh,
And
okay.
there's like 20 or 30 programs on a CD.
Contest, Whiskey 7, Echo Delta.
We're lucky in Portland. We get two venues. We get Hollywood 360 on Saturday night from 6 to midnight, and we get When Radio Was the following night on Sunday from 6 to midnight on 820.
Yeah, well, we get
860
here.
860. Thank you.
KIXI.
Yeah, it's the only
You
thing.
can get- Yeah, you can get that online too. You can get it on the computer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they did do any of you know Jim French?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
He used to have some stuff in Kirkland, didn't he?
yeah, and his family and some of the radio reenactment group.
They had a theater in
Radio-
Kirkland, didn't they?
Yes, they do. That's the Radio Enthusiasts of Puget Sound, REPS.
Oh,
And they
The,
they do recreations, but they also they have some guy does Sherlock Holmes, and they put those on the radio. once
They
in a
do
while.
the stage programs here. They're doing them in Hillsboro, Oregon. I think it's called, isn't that the Fake Radio, Pat? Where they have people actually get up on stage and perform the old radio shows,
Yeah,
just like
that's
they
what
do.
that's what they
There's
do
a-
there. Yeah.
You
there's
can
a
watch-
group out at Washington State University here that also does their communications group does some of them over at Kiggins Theater.
Yeah, I used to belong to reps, and I would do the scripts. I would take an old radio program or a broadcast, and I would turn it back into a script with the sound
Oh, neat.
effects and the voices and all that kind of stuff because of my transcriptions abilities.
All right.
And then they had like an annual convention, and they would have the actual radio stars. They invited the old time radio stars to the convention, and they would recreate the shows. But then most of them are gone. You figure most of them were in their 20s and 30s in the 40s. So that's a nice rhyme, but even the child stars from old time radio are gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mike, there's there's Tesla as well. There's Fake Radio and Tesla.
That's right. Yeah. And then the Blake and I went to that one a couple of years ago, I think it was, at the old church in Portland. We didn't get to actually see the show, but we showed up there with our radios for display.
Yeah. There, sometimes, we get calls from California, the film industry wanting to do a film of a older era and are looking for props. And they often are looking for old radios. So we get inquiries about that every once in a while.
Huh, great. That's great.
So anyway, you're talking about television, yeah. That's for next time. Records are for next time.
That's all right. We can
That's
start.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting belonging to reps, but they went through a period of time when there was a little bit of a whole bunch rather of craziness going on. People were threatening to sue. They didn't like the name of the club. People were there were a couple of crazy people that were running it, and we just quit. We didn't want to have anything to do with that insanity. So and then there was a newspaper article rather about the PSARA up here, and Cliff wanted to go see what it was all about, so I went with him. And I've been a secretary my whole life, an admin, administrative assistant, whatever you want to call it. And I just was appalled. I'm sorry, the disarray, people doing things on notes and no administrative control of anything, and they were losing track of stuff. So I volunteered to help, and I've been doing it ever since.
Well, great.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told Franklin, we're thinking of moving down to Oregon because my daughter lives down there, and my husband is 88, and I'm 78, and we live in a huge house that we can't take care of anymore. So we're thinking of moving down there. And PSARA says I have to attend all the meetings by Zoom. I can't.
Careful, Linda. I moved from Dallas, Texas out here, and I'm still on the board for that club out there. I may not let you go.
I may have to come back.
Love to have you down here, though.
She's thinking about moving to Forest Grove. You're thinking of moving down here, Linda? Forest Grove.
Forest Grove, yeah.
Oh, Forest Grove. Oh, great.
Yeah, because that's where my daughter lives.
Nice. Yeah, that's I live near there. I live in Aloha, which is like 10 miles from Forest Grove. So I go out there all the time.
We're not ready yet. We're working on it.
Okay.
Some of the guys in our club have seen our house. So my husband has 2,000 radios, 10,000 tubes.
Oh boy.
That's quite a move.
Transcription discs, record players, telescopes, guitars.
And you're talking about downsizing?
She's gonna sell it all before she moves down here, right?
Right.
Ooh, do you have a lot of plastic sets?
That's just a matter of fact.
I know you've got some novelty sets, that's for sure. Novelty.
Oh yeah, I showed that at
Yeah.
one of the meetings. Yeah. I have a Pepsi radio. I have a Pepsi Cola radio.
Oh wow.
I think there's anything wrong with having a 1,500 square foot house and an 80,000 square foot barn.
Yeah.
Well, we have a 2,400 square foot house and a 2-car garage, and they are full.
Yeah, sorry you didn't get on here. We had our novelty radio theme here. What was it, like 3 weeks ago, something like that?
Well, that's, there's.
I think we froze up.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's cold up there.
Did we lose her?
Yeah. Well, there she's back.
And then a week later,
good.
like I gotta get rid of all this junk, so back and forth. So, it's driving me crazy. But we'll do it one small piece at a time. But do you people have ways of helping people who've lost a collector? Like a wife who's lost a husband who collects radios and things like that. What do you do? How do you handle that?
Pat, you're up.
We're trying to, as a club, we're trying to come up with some ideas for.
Linda, I've
Yeah.
written
People to
like,
contact us.
oh, sorry. Linda, I've written a note, or, like an email to send out to people in that kind of situation. And it kind of explains their options and stuff. So I have that that you could take and use as a draft up there.
I'm sorry, I lost my connection there. Can you repeat what you asked, please?
Oh, okay. NWVRS has a scripted letter that we can send out to people in that situation, kind of advising them different options they would have. And then if you want, we could send a copy of that up to you, and then you could kind of modify it for your needs. But basically just gives them a bunch of ideas on how to dispose of the collection. Ask questions like, is it necessary to keep the collection together? How much time do you have? Is it the idea to maximize the money that you for return, or is it to keep the collection within the group of collectors? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, like giving things to a good home, or just, I don't care, let's just get rid of it.
Right.
But
do you want a copy of that letter?
yes, that would be great.
Okay.
What we run into every once in a while, we can't accept these collections. We don't have any place or anyone in the club that can help someone do that. Are there places like auction houses or other places like that do that? Are you guys,
Yes.
That's one of the options.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll send you the letter, and then you can kind of ask questions if you have any.
Sure.
But what about your storage unit? Jason said you guys had a storage unit, and that's where you stored a lot of the stuff.
The storage unit is 5 by 5.
Oh.
That answered the question, right? And it's already full.
And they just moved it, right? You just moved it from one storage unit to another. So
right. Well, we had a really awkward. We had a
pie shape kind of, or weird shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A wedge shaped unit that was very inefficient, and they kept raising the rates every year. So our new president found a unit close to where she lives, and she moved. We had to give 30 days notice to the unit we're in. So in January, we're moving out of that unit and into the new one. But like all of our swap meet supplies, like the traffic cones and the signs and that kind of stuff that we use for the big swap meet we have in August, that's in there. Club, some of the club archives are in there, and paper, so we have to make sure we're in a unit that's not going to get wet. If it burns down, nothing we can do about it, but we're going to put some of it on other archive, but you can put things on CDs, and CDs deteriorate. You put it in the cloud, and then Amazon goes belly up. and you lose it all. So, but right now we have it on paper. One of our members kept every single newsletter that's ever been printed, and we're trying to get that onto our website, but that takes time. It all takes time. But yeah, we're hoping that we can participate in that August swap meet, or maybe in something that you guys have. The problem is that neither my husband or I are physically capable of hauling radios. And you can come visit us, but we have, you know, we're up by, does anybody know where the Everett Boeing plant is? We live in a little town called Mukilteo.
Yeah.
Mukilteo. Yeah. My sister's in Woodinville, just south of you.
We have 2 parking spaces. We're on a private road and we have easement, and there's no other places to park unless you park on our lawn, which is a 12% grade. Yeah, we have been snowbound. I have 6 inches of snow on my back deck here, and it's supposed to snow starting about 9 o'clock again. So we're expecting another 4 inches of snow tonight. So I don't know when we're gonna get out of our house. But yeah, if my husband ever decides to sell while he's still in his right mind, I'll just hide them somewhere and say, oh, we sold that already. But yeah, it's just, it's so much stuff. It's hard to get a handle on it.
Well, we
So, yeah,
had,
I might
oh.
appreciate that letter.
yeah. Last summer, we did have a sale like that, several of them, because it was a situation where the former member, or one of the of our members passed away. And the amount of radios was, and the collection was absolutely overwhelming. And they decided to invite us, and then at one point they invited the public down to their property, and then just had a sale there and set it up with people to go ahead and take the money and that sort of thing. And they did it over, what did we have? Was there 3 or 4 separate sales they had down there, Pat, wasn't it? McCracken's?
I think 5 total. There was
5
like-
total, yeah.
There was 2 for us, and then there was 3 to the public.
Yeah,
as I recall.
something
And
like
then-
that. And then
No,
when
we
it was
don't
all over
necessarily,
with
yeah.
and done, there was the amount of stuff that was left over, then we hauled that up to our place to auction the rest of it off, and the final stuff off, you know. And that worked very well, because they didn't have to transport anything or start hauling thousands of radios out of their collection and to somewhere else. They just had everything done at their place and had everybody travel down there.
Now, the problem with holding things at our house is that he gets really agitated when somebody new shows up.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
he thinks that they're there to steal stuff.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, so, yeah, if anybody knows of the situation, you know, where you've got someone with memory issues, it's not fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
we may do that. But I think he's hoping that we'll have in-person meetings. He keeps asking me all the time, when are we gonna have a meeting? You know, when are we gonna go to the Grange to have, he calls it the church. Well, what, you know, when are we gonna go to the church to have a meeting so we can take some of the radios? Yeah, every once in a while, I give some other members give me a call to see if we have a certain type of tube. I don't think I have any of that rare one, the L, was it L6 or whatever? whatever that tube is that nobody can find anymore. We don't
With
have any of those. I
helicopters?
looked.
So 1L6.
1L6, okay. I know very, very little about radio. Only what I've absorbed through the meetings. I don't collect radios. So when you get into the technicalities of stuff like that, it's go over my head. but that's no problem. But yeah, if we're gonna move down to Oregon, we would need another 2,400 square foot house. And I don't want to take care of a 2,400 square foot house. Rats. So yeah, eventually, you know, I think we'll find a way. Maybe take a few to the meetings, and if you guys have a swap meet in June down there in Chehalis, Centralia, wherever. Is it Centralia or Chehalis?
No, it's Chehalis.
Chehalis, okay, a little further. Yeah, my whenever we need to get together as a family, but we can't stay overnight, we meet in Centralia at the restaurant, the Country Cousin.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Been there
Yeah.
many a time.
Good
Yeah,
eat.
and we did that this year. We exchanged Christmas presents.
Ah,
And then we had a Zoom meeting on Christmas and opened Christmas presents.
Oh, nice.
That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
so
Yeah, it is.
technology has really made keeping in touch face to face
And to
easy.
think I got into a 21-year-old car and drove 800 miles to do the same thing. Oh, well.
you took your 2,100 or 21-year-old car?
I took a 21-year-old 4Runner with 180,000 miles and drove to Bakersfield, California to spend Christmas with my dad.
Uh-huh.
That's wonderful.
Who was 92 in November, so you know he wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting on an airplane, and
No.
he doesn't do Zoom.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's 186,000 on the Toyota, Blake.
Maybe now. 180 in November, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's just getting a Toyota. That's just getting broke in, you know.
yeah, well, Edmunds says those things are good for 300,000 if you take care of them. I'm starting to believe it. They sure ran good.
That's amazing what they'll do nowadays.
And we left the new car in the garage. Or the newer car. Let me rephrase that. The newer car in the garage.
There's no room in our garage. Full of radios.
Mine's got my wife's car and an old car. Both of them are required to be in the garage, but I've got the rest of it plumb full.
Mhm.
So what's working on today, Blake?
I'm still working on that British pilot.
Oh, really?
I decided that I needed to troubleshoot it from the front end instead of the back end. So I spent the last couple of days restoring. Oh, I can actually pick this one up. It's not a TV. Take the test lead off of it. Spent the last couple of days restoring an old ICO signal tracer.
Oh, nice.
Uh-huh.
So still got the price tag on it. Anyway, got that all refurbed and started playing with it tonight. And I have a better idea of where my problem is. I've got, I can pick up radio stations at the antenna terminal. I can pick them up at the top of the gang tuner. I pick them up coming off of the RF tube or going into the RF tube. I don't have any detectable signal going into the 688 converters. So I guess that's where I'll start my next series of tests. But I have in the interim converted it over to 120 volts. So it has a new power transformer on it and plays on American mains.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
That's that. I've got a 1936 German Nora that is piled up here to the left of me that I think you guys have already seen pictures of it, but you know, slow moving out here.
Blake, I've got a Model 45 Philco Butterfly that I'm starting to work on. And the first thing I noticed, Joe brought the the chassis to me, and it had a permanent magnet speaker tied onto the chassis with like a strap with 2 screws in it. And the original speaker is gone, of course. And so I I found a field coil speaker that'll work. It's a 5-inch speaker. It's got like, 1040, the schematics calling for 1140. I think it's close enough to work. And took a look at the radio. Somebody, whoever put that permanent magnet on there, they took the two wires that were supposed to be fed to the field coil. And of course, they didn't have anything else to do with them. They just tied them together. And so, and then with some electrician's tape. And I thought, well, yeah, that ought to work. So I've got that to deal with. So I've got all of that to deal with. And then I'm just now getting the speaker to where I can get it mounted on the chassis. So it'll at least be bolted down and hopefully will work. So I'm wondering what else I'm going to find on this set.
This is what came out of the last speaker or the last radio I worked on. It had a permanent magnet.
Oh yeah.
You can't see this very well, but it's nichrome coiled wire. It's actually about 1,000 ohms. It's just about.
Is it?
Value.
Yeah.
I thought this was pretty clever until I had the radio on for about 5 minutes and it started smoking. And when I took the lid off, there was flames. It's like, well, maybe this wasn't such a bright.
So what is that, out of a curling iron?
Yeah, you'll be happy to know, Mike, the radio came from the same collection that your butterfly did.
Oh, wonderful. Somebody had a lot of problems with the field coil speakers and decided to start changing them out. Yeah. at least that one they tried to put a choke in its place.
They use the electrolytic can to house it on top of the chassis, and of course they never cleaned the tar out of it.
Yeah. Oh boy. so therefore that's what caught on fire.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
Like adding a hairdryer to your speaker.
Yeah, kind of what it does. It's on a ceramic core.
Yeah.
They did a fair job
Uh-huh.
lining it all up and wiring it in, but
it's not bad. But
it gets plenty hot.
Well, letting the smoke out is one thing. Catching on fire is another.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, right.
I don't like fire.
Oh man.
But no, it's what it is. There's plenty of stuff down here. I acquired Lyle's is gone, I think, but I acquired an absolutely mint Hammerlin HQ 180.
Oh wow.
It actually plays. It doesn't play really well, but all of the main things work on it. But I have it in the matching speaker and has the clock in it, has the filters.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful. Most of them I get are filthy inside. This one has been well cared for, I think, forever.
Talk about the resistor though that's swapped out. Shouldn't that only dissipate about 8 or 10 watts if the rest of the radio is okay?
Probably, but I put a fuel coil speaker in it and took out the coil, and it plays a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's better. I just mean 10 watts shouldn't catch on fire.
Well, it is when you put it you sequester it in a metal can full of tar.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just give it some fuel.
That's right.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
I'm looking around. I got a whole garage full of stuff in here. But those are my next two projects. What's everybody else working on?
Well, I got those 2 TVs I'm working on.
Oh, you're working on the TVs, huh?
Get their linearity straightened
Nice.
out.
I finally got back into that little green Hallicrafters and got it lined up, and it actually had some noise, but I guess kind of going through there, cleaning things up and putting maybe the noise is on the tuning capacitor or something. Put some deoxit in the contacts and kind of clean things up, and got it playing real well, so it's back up on the shelf.
And which model was that, Mark?
That was that green Hallicrafters I had on, two band, 5-tube AC/DC Hallicrafters.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Continental.
that
Yeah.
thing was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice set.
And it actually, the dial calibration actually, it actually cals pretty good on the padding capacitor, you know, for the broadcast. And on the shortwave, it actually lined up pretty nicely too. So where it, you know, you set it for 6 megs and you go up to 10 megs WWV, that's right on the button. And 15 megs, pretty much, you know, within the width, you know, the width of the pointer, you know, so.
Right.
It wasn't too bad. A lot of those things get real sloppy, you know, but it actually was pretty good.
Yeah, you can usually, if you pick up WWV, you know, and then you know you're going to be pretty close to 10 megs. So, you know, wherever your dial pointer is there at that point, that's kind of gives you a good indicator.
Yeah.
Without a signal generator, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've got a signal gen, but I just it's nice that it lines up pretty good. So
Yeah, that's the main thing.
One of these days I'm going to dig into my NC44 National, and that thing, I did an NC46, and it's got a linear cut capacitor. I guess that's the right, or it's cut so that the dial is linear, and it's almost absolutely like a ruler. And they calibrate that. In fact, the broadcast band has a on those has a mark for every 10 kilohertz, and I could on the 46, I could line it up across the whole band, so it was no more than about a quarter of a needle width off anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, just amazing.
Yeah, it
They did
is.
a very nice job on those things. So one of these days I'm going to do the get the 44 part and start working on that.
I'm working on a Columbia Springs project here. This is the one radio they brought in for repair. It's missing the side knob and the 6 push buttons and the volume control button. Plus it's missing all the tubes and the power cord. So my recommendation to Columbia Springs is that they should just let us put it in the auction and try to sell it, because I did some research and all the knobs that this thing needs is about $55. So they're going to be buried in it pretty much. So that's what I'm working on.
That tuning knob is kind of special too, because you have to loosen that thing up, you know, to get to where it turns the dial correctly, and then tighten it up when you get it right, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a specialty knob on that one. I've worked on a couple of those, you know.
Yeah, they actually have there's a place that has repro side knobs, but it does not include the little special screw nut thing inside this knob.
Yeah.
Oh wow. She'd have to come up with that too.
Good on that, because I think I know somebody that has all of the tubes, power core, push buttons, and all the knobs, and they're not repros. I might be able to get them from him cheap.
Well, it kind of depends, because like I say, this is for Columbia Springs, and this is not a radio brought in from the public. This is actually their radio. Yep. And according to what Tara said, that if this gets fixed, they'll put it into their thrift shop store and sell it. And then of course, all the proceeds will go to Columbia Springs. So whoever that person is, could you have them contact me? Because I don't think, I feel kind of bad that that person would have to donate, you know, basically $75 worth of material just to give it away.
Yeah, he might feel bad about it too. So maybe if you get it and you auction it off, that individual would maybe put a bid in on it. But you know.
Okay, sounds good.
What is a bullet worth? I mean, that is a bullet, right?
It's a Belmont. I don't know if it's called a Belmont bullet, but it is.
It's a Belmont.
Yeah, it's as far as I can tell, this one is slightly rarer than the 6111, because I don't usually see this particular model that often.
Does it have a back?
Yeah, it actually has a back. It's not very good, but it's good enough.
So Pat, is that one made out of plastic or Bakelite?
This one's Bakelite.
Okay, so that individual would be able to bid and wouldn't have to worry about bidding against you.
Well, I don't know.
Plastic
So,
to bake light.
So, well, that's okay, because the more we bid on it, the more money they'll get. So like I say, I'm going to see if we can put it in our auction, before the meeting starts in January.
Belmont made that set or a version of it for airline.
Yeah.
And it's just got the same push button with that adjustment knob and all of that business, and they made several different versions of it, but they all have those same push buttons with that knob that you loosen the screw up to get you to adjust your push buttons with, and then you tighten it back down. And so either a Belmont or an airline model with that same configuration. It's like
True. I
Blake's
mean,
written one.
you're right, Mike. This could be an airline, but
Yeah, here's a similar airline. It only has the 4 push buttons. This was the lesser model, but this is one of the same basic ones.
That's got the roll dial too, doesn't it?
No,
Or is
the
it?
dial on this one is curved, but it does not move. It's let me see if I can get it up there and you can see.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is an Estevan paint job with.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah, all I need to do is find the appropriate knob up here. This one has a threaded screw coming out, so I'm assuming that it's either been changed or maybe it's a different kind of knob. But anyway, I've been through the couple of knobs that I have, and I haven't found one yet.
Your couple of knobs, yeah.
Yeah.
So we need
I had
1,000.
we need
I had a
somebody in
version-
this
oh.
club to get a 3D printer and start helping us out here.
There you go.
I had a version of that radio, and it had a tuning eye tube in it. It's a special, I can't remember the number of that tube, but it was for AC/DC radios, 150 mils, and
6N5 or a 6AB5.
6AV5, yeah, I think, yeah. And I had and it was problematic because the tube itself was a Coke bottle shaped, or the ST style, shoulder style, and it was a wrong one, and it would interfere with the dial because it was too large in diameter at that point. And so I had to find that same tube that was in a straight line, or in other words, was narrow all the way and the same diameter all the way. And so I think somebody that I know helped me find one of those, or he traded it out or something.
Probably the other guy that has all the parts for the radio Pat has.
Yeah, probably.
That's a very nice offering up on the screen.
So.
Yeah, so this is kind of a leftover from the plastic, since I wasn't here last week.
No, nice, Myron.
This is a GE 610 or 11. They made them green and maroon. One of them was a 610 and the other one was a 611. And you see it has the rotating dial.
Stop licking your chops, Pat.
And of course, this is the 3-way portables after the war. So this was it has a pilot light that only behind this little part in the middle. That's only when you plug it in. But it has a 3-section tuning condenser. And it has an RF amplifier.
Wow.
Oh wow.
It's a pretty nice set. Yes.
Wow.
So,
no kidding.
9-volt and 90-volt battery. But so it has the coil antenna, right? But the next version, which was the 614 and 615, had a linear dial instead of this rounded dial. And they used a ferrite antenna instead of the coil antenna.
I like that one.
I think this one looks better than the other one. The other one has a lid that pops up and then a linear dial across the top. But these are pretty cool. So I was working on them.
Cool.
Generally, they have selenium rectifiers. So if you have to replace those, you put a bigger resistor in, and then I like to put a Zener diode on the filaments to make sure you don't, burn those up. But
Yeah. Good idea.
yeah, they're pretty cool little sets though.
I have a PAT
Yeah.
radio. Yeah, get it down. There you go. You know what? Let me turn the light off. Just too bright. There we go.
Thanks, Byron.
Yeah, nice one, Myron.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, I have the green one, and I have the 614 and 615 green one and maroon as well. They made 610s. Oh, I'm sorry, 660 and 601, or 604 and 605 or whatever, which did away with the RF amplifier. But I've seen those, but I don't have any of those.
So Pat, this is one I've got sitting around the garage here that has got your name written all over it.
Ooh,
It's the right.
It's not plastic, like clock radio.
wow.
Yeah. I think it's an airline. Yeah, airline citation. Anyway,
Ooh, how
what
much?
reminded me of it is the one that Myron had up, had knobs similar to this one, and but this one has knob envy. It has little knobs. His had a great big knob on it.
Ooh,
Sweet.
how much is that?
I don't know. It depends on what day you come over and pick it up.
Hey, I think we need to do more plastic radios because everybody's bringing out their plastic radios, right,
Oh,
Pat?
yeah, that was a
Yeah.
big hit.
I just
That was
thought this one out for entertainment factor. I wanted to see what Pat thought.
Ooh, it's nice. Well, the story for me, I started in the radio club years and years ago, and all the old curmudgeons wouldn't sell me their prized crystal radios or wood radios. So they all sent me all the stuff they didn't want, which was a bunch of plastic sets. So that's how I started. I collected a lot of plastic radios, and that's what happened.
Uh-huh.
Now, Pat is the connoisseur of plastic radios.
Yeah, it's interesting. This Dave Allen guy that showed up last week, he contacted us and he wanted to sell his collection, sent some pictures. And one of the radios I looked at goes, hey, I think that might be a very valuable radio. And I got some pictures of it. And he's got a uncracked red Catlin Arvin 852, I think. I can't remember the model number, but we looked it up, and one sold on Radio Attic for $2,700.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
So he's got that one radio in his collection. He wants, he's going to want to sell everything. So I was surprised because he had a lot of stuff he's got is pretty much stuff we've seen in the auctions. It's not going to bring much. I tried to tell him that, but when I saw that one radio, I said, you've got something really nice.
For sure. Yeah.
Gary's got one to show.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Pat, what do you think of this? Can you hear me?
Oh, that's
sweet.
It's pink.
Pink.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
It's kind of nice and small, It's a Zenith. And unfortunately, it's got a few cracks on the top. I don't know if you can see that.
Ooh, he doesn't like cracks.
Yeah, well, that's what plastic does, unfortunately. This
Yeah.
old plastic.
We're doing pink. How about this?
Oh,
Yeah,
look at that.
that's nice.
Beauty.
oh my gosh.
Hey,
Is that Emerson a solid pink one?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I've
Yeah.
only seen, in fact, that may be the only solid pink one I've ever seen. I've heard about them. I've
Yeah.
seen red ones.
Well, I have to go put it away now because we put it up on Radio Attic and it sold in, I believe he said 12 minutes,
Wow.
and a local buyer bought it.
Oh,
Can I ask how much?
2.5.
Wow.
Yeah, when I gave it to Joe, he said, what do you want to ask for? And I said, I don't know, $79. And he goes, no, it hits me at 249, and it went instantly at that price. So apparently
Oh, boy.
there's a market for nice plastic radios. This one's got a nice back on it and everything.
Yeah. Don't drop it.
No. Set it over there
Wow.
by itself with a towel.
I've seen red ones, I've seen brown ones, I've seen black ones. I've heard of other colors of that, but I think that's the only pink one I've ever seen.
Well, this one was, I described it as Pepto-Bismol pink.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, next time you're over, you can drag this home with you. Sorry, it's not pink.
You guys were talking about the rare 1L6 tubes, and I had this sort of a recollection that I might have one in my box, so I went out and pulled the tube collection. And here it is. And it has a box, but unfortunately the box is really bad.
Yeah.
It's barely in one piece, but it does have the little label that says 1L6 on it.
Nice. That makes it new.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody comes up short of 1L6, give me a call. I've still got a few of them over there in the cupboard.
All right.
I've got some too.
I've actually got a 1L6 solid state that somebody gave me, and I got a chance to run a comparison across them, and that solid state one works really, really well.
Yeah.
I was amazed at how well it performed.
Pat, here's an Emerson that we got, I think, in one of the auctions, or else we might have bought this at McCracken sale. I'm not sure.
That's the brown one.
It's got a handle on it. It's kind of got an alligator finish here on the front.
What color is it, Mike?
It's kind of a gray color.
Oh.
It's got a nice handle on it, and the handle's in really good shape. And then it takes, I haven't touched it, so it's kind of dirty still. In fact, it's real dirty. But it's AC and battery, and I think it's is it four or five? No, it's 5 tube. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured it would be.
Oh, Marshall has a burgundy one of those. We just finished repairing it about 2 weeks ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, same radio, except his is a different color.
Oh yeah, this is kind of a gray color, and then it's got that alligator kind of finish here on the back too, as well.
But it's in plastic, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's plastic.
I've seen burgundy, I've seen tan, brown ones, but I don't think I've ever seen a gray one.
I don't think I've seen a gray one either. Seems like they made them in green as well, kind of an olive green, kind of the color of Dan Howard's shirt.
Yeah.
Might have been faded.
I kind of wonder who came up with that design with those sub-miniature tubes, because there's so many of them after the war, and they all used selenium rectifiers, and they all used the same set of 5 tubes.
Yeah.
Model 559A, it says on it.
Yeah, whoever had the license for that design made a lot of money.
Stumped a lot of households too when the seleniums went.
So Myron, you want to meet on Monday?
Sure. If I think I can get somebody to help me load the thing. That's been my big problem this week.
Sure. Weather permitting, Monday might be good. I'll touch base closer to Monday.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Get off of there. You're not supposed to be up there.
Pat?
Kitty's being
Get
bad.
down off of there, Buster.
Pat, I was wondering about the status of that Santa's wish list thing you sent around a few weeks ago. What's happening with that?
You're muted, Pat.
Sorry. So Dan, I've got right here in front of me, I've got to add your wish list items to that. What I need to do is I have to go through and find pictures for all these things. The Emerson 888 Vanguard and Majestic, I have to actually find pictures of that and then add it to the spreadsheet.
I'll send you pictures. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was part of the package. I'll do it.
Oh, okay. The reason why is because, somebody might have the part, but don't know what it is. But if you have a picture of what it is, they might be able to identify it.
What for the Vanguard?
He needs the brass centers for knobs or complete set of knobs.
I see.
The Vanguard uses clear plastic knobs for the volume control with brass centers. And for some reason, the centers seem to be fugitive on a couple of my radios, so.
I'll try and remember to bring my knob brights with me to the next meeting, and maybe my clear knobs too. I know I've got a bunch of them, Dan, and you're welcome to whatever you need.
Blake, do you have I went for a Roberts R200 bright?
I might. Do you have the knob?
Yeah, I have the knob. I just need the bright.
Bring the knob with you, and I'll try and gather up the brights that I've got.
Okay.
And I've got some clear plastic knobs with some brights in them. Maybe I'll try and bring those. I mean, if you find a bright that will fit, I don't have a problem sacrificing a knob for you.
Thank you. That would be great.
Okay, Dan, because you also have 7 other items if you have pictures for, but if you don't have pictures, let me know and I'll find them on the internet.
No, I'll get you an updated email tomorrow, Pat. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Do you guys want to look at some of the Goodwill items that are on shopgoodwill.com, and we can zoom through them if you're all up to it.
Yeah, might as well.
What do you
Go for
got?
it. What do they got?
They got all kinds of radios.
By the way, while he's queuing that up, if you folks have knob needs, come over with your knob or a picture and visit. Pat will attest to the fact that I've got a few.
Yes, you will be impressed.
Or depressed if you don't find what you're looking for.
So Franklin, it is just a Goodwill that's local to us so we can actually buy it, or is this like something you'd have to buy and have it shipped?
These are online, so they're all over. They're at individual Goodwills. So, but we could just start with some of these. This is Emerson.
A nice Crosley a minute ago.
Oh my gosh, $66 for a plastic clock radio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prices are going up on these.
That's
So you have to
pay. Oh, that
so I
was
take it you have to pay shipping too, depending on where they're coming from.
And you can actually, they have an estimated shipping here.
Goodwill, Northern Michigan. Yeah.
I'll show you what the shipping is, just to give you some idea. Yeah, $16 for shipping. Plus you got to pay handling fee too, so that's $19. So
yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, Goodwill's a charity.
Oh, I've got that radio, the Overseas Crosley. They're on the left.
Oh yeah, for $63.
Yeah. I went through that and I've got that in my collection.
What a big dial on that thing with the
Oh,
airplane
it's a
dial.
beauty. Yeah, it's got a huge dial on it. Nice radio. Plays nice too. American Overseas.
Depending on the model number you've got, you'd be very unimpressed with what's behind the dial. Just finished one that was a 4-tube battery set.
Oh, no.
The dial's much larger than the chassis. Most of them were 5 or 6 tube though.
I think mine's a 6-tube with RF amplifier AC.
I'll show the back on it. I guess this was
6-tube transformer set.
I guess that's as close as we can get.
That's probably an AC/DC. It's got a back on it.
Yeah, it might be. Might be AC/DC. Maybe mine is too. I can't remember. It's just so big. I assumed it was a transformer set. I'm not sure.
I think the one I had was a 66 TC or something like that. And it was a transformer set.
Oh, okay. Mine might be then too. I'll have to look at it. Oh, I think I have that one too. The little vintage GE. No, I've got a version of that, but it's a clock radio.
Well, you got a Coke machine there. Hey.
Yeah.
I like the one that's on the left, down one row.
Oh, okay. We'll go back to that. Go back. I like the Sony's.
The Sony.
Did you
Yeah,
mess?
that speedometer dial. I think they call them tax tachometers. Which one did you want to see, Blake?
The one you're looking at? That's pretty cool. You don't need to go into it. I just thought it looked cool.
The Sony Digimatic.
Yeah.
How about that bumper car radio?
One next to it says Delco, but I'm betting that it's an RCA.
Yeah, they make mistakes all the time.
Yeah, that's an RCA. I may say Delco on it.
It
but
looks like
that's an RCA. Even the back.
Heck, that RCA.
Yeah. Guess we know who made it.
Wow, $45 for that.
I said they don't go cheap, even at Goodwill. So
I'll be darned. Yeah.
I've never won anything, and I've bid on a lot of stuff.
So they sell pretty rapidly, or?
Yeah, it's amazing.
okay.
Is that a guitar amp or what is that? Is that a radio? Oh, it's a radio.
Which one?
The one on the left. It's a vintage RCA well, it's a transistor, it says.
Yeah, I've got the dark
Wow.
walnut cabinet of this one.
That's different with a wood back on it.
With lots of ventilation. Wow.
Yeah.
Must have been a tube radio they converted, huh?
Or it really doesn't need it for a battery transistor set.
Yeah. It's a phone. It's a pay phone, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And the theme of plastic portables. This one's small.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah. Oh, it's tube. Look at that.
Compact,
I thought it was a transistor.
tiny little speaker.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think I've got a couple of those speakers. They're like 2x4. They're 1.5 by 3. They're little.
And it was almost, but not quite, a printed circuit.
Lego CD
Yeah.
player. Huh?
Got a bunch of different colors of them. They sell for a lot too.
Little
This one's,
CD player.
but it'll go probably about $40 for these.
Huh.
That one's $10.
Well, that's the start of it. Just started the auction. These are all auction prices. So
Oh, I see. Like eBay.
here's another one of the portables. I thought this one's kind of unique. Have you guys seen this before? In Norway?
Look at that.
Norway. Cortina.
Norway Cortina.
I have a couple of those, yeah. They're transistor sets, but they have shortwave and
Wow.
they're transistors.
Connectors. That's kind of cool.
Nice.
So those adjustments are capacitors. They have
Aren't
capacitors.
those
They're,
He
they're,
seals a lot in Grundigs.
yeah, those
Telephones too.
can looking things are actually capacitors, yeah.
Adjustable ones.
Yep. And you see they put, fingernail polish or something on there to lock them down.
Mhm.
But you can see it's 5 bands. And the output
Wow.
stage is over on the right. That's where the output transistors are and such. Because that band in the middle, it's got a bunch of push buttons on the front to pick the band.
Wow.
Kind of a weird slotted tool you have to use to tune those capacitors.
Comes with a schematic.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. It's a little rough.
Yeah, mine are rough too.
So say it was made in Norway, is that what it is?
Yeah,
What
for
it's
sure.
called.
Huh. That's different.
Or
Look at this.
Cortina
We got-
Trans Deluxe.
Panasonic 4-band, what?
He's-
That's ugly.
It's a lighter.
A wind-up radio.
Oh, really?
It's a lighter. Yeah, see how the top opens up there?
Oh, geez.
Well,
You still there?
What was that?
another one of those radios that skips the smoke stage and goes straight to fire.
Fire. That's too funny.
Go back to that Panasonic 4-band. What was that?
Oh, yeah, you
Franklin?
liked it. I think I'm on 3. Am I on 3? This one here?
Yeah, right to the right. National Pen 4-band model R-441B. Wow.
Those things are they're awful to work on.
I'll bet.
They don't open the back, I think.
Why is it called National Panasonic?
That was their name before they became just Panasonic.
Huh.
Kind of like Lucky Gold Star.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
LZ.
some of the later ones really sell very well too.
Well, the same company's called Matsushita too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Matsushita, isn't it?
Gray mark. Oh,
Oh,
Lego radio.
Crosley Collector.
oh, there's a television set.
Yeah, this is a remake, but they're kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, I figured it was a remake. It'd have to be for that price.
There's your cassette plug-in.
Yeah.
They're still kind of cool.
So Franklin, every time you select something, you go out, takes you back to the first page again?
Yeah, I'm going back. That's why I should just try to go back.
Ooh, the green zenith.
Yeah, the trumpeter.
Trumpeter.
Yeah.
Look how discolored the dial is.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
Just poor plastic.
Looks
Yeah.
the same shape as the one I held up before.
Yeah, that's the way mine is. I've got one here, the same shape in the back. Has a different front on it though, Gary.
Yeah.
Plug that one in.
It says red clock radio. I showed it the other day when we had plastic radios.
That's already up to $30 and it's not going to close to the second.
But that's a tube set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's probably similar to the clock radio I've got here. And that also that one that Gary's got. They might all be fairly similar radios.
Doesn't have any breathing room for a tube radio.
No.
Right. Yeah. It's no
They're-
ventilation. Gets really hot.
If I can go back.
Miniature tubes.
With printed circuit board.
This little pink clock radio I showed you has 2 sets of ventilation holes in the back.
Oh, there's a couple of pocket transistors.
Yeah, Smurf.
When, Papa Smurf or
Smurf-meter.
something on there. Smurf radio. What's the test equipment there? What is that? Multi-function
Swear meter.
swear meter. Yeah.
I think that's all I got.
What are they going for the insulators?
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, insulators.
$12.
Gee, I better go take those off my
Wow.
antenna.
Holy cow. Yeah, no kidding. I ought to sell the ones I've got.
I gave a bunch of those away.
They don't even,
Right.
they don't even have any color to them.
We had an expert tell me about them. I guess they're 30 years apart. Yeah, it's still got a few more days on it too. 4th. Anyway, it's something to look at.
Yeah, that's cool, Franklin. Thanks.
Anybody frequent the Goodwills around here?
You know,
Yes, but
I stop in the ones in my neighborhood once in a while just to look and see if there's anything. You know, usually there's not.
Mhm.
A bunch of DVD players and a bunch of just crap like that, you know.
That's why it's on Goodwill online.
Yep.
Mark, what's the temperature today in Hawaii?
It's been cold.
Oh,
It's 76 outside right now.
yeah.
That's freezing.
No, it's there. Let's see. So I'll look at last night, or max today was 80.4 and it got down to 68.9 last night.
Oh,
So are
boy.
you about 1 p.m. right now?
No, it's about 7 o'clock in the evening.
Oh,
Yeah, we're just 2 hours, two hours difference this time of year.
okay.
Yeah, and then until you guys go that crazy time, and then you'd be 3 hours difference.
Oh.
But yeah, it gets dark. Actually, it gets it gets dark at 5:30 in late November. That's the late or the earliest time at sunset, and then it's starting to get a little later in the sunset, but the morning still will continue to be later and later. The variance is about two and a half hours between winter and summer as far as the daylight hours.
Mm.
Doesn't swing as far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're closer to the equator, so it's not.
Right.
one-
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're at, I think we're just below 20 degrees, I think.
The 20th parallel, you mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, 'cause-
just below that.
Yeah, because we're at the 40, we're halfway in between, you know, where Salem is. We're at the 45th parallel.
Yeah. So in
47
the
up there.
summertime, the sun will be straight overhead at noon twice a year.
Yeah.
Because we're south of the Tropic of Cancer, which is the farthest the sun will be straight overhead, and I had to remember all that stuff.
Oh, so you are below the Tropic of Cancer. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they call that Lahaina noon or something like that. And you get it twice a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, South Pacific.
Yep. Well, we're really still in the north. We're not in the South Pacific though. We're north of the equator. so-
North of the equator, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're in the tropics.
Yeah.
Not far enough west to go across the international date line.
No.
No.
Like I say, it's only 2 hours difference here from the West Coast.
Yeah, when I
Right
worked
now.
for the government, we used to have to call Yokosuka, Japan. And that was before internet. And we had a 1 hour window where it was 8 o'clock our time and 4:30 their time, or 4 o'clock.
15
our
hours
time.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And, so we only had an hour. And then we got computers and internet, and we didn't have to worry about that anymore. You just send an email and get an answer whenever you get to work. Washington DC used to keep forgetting that we were on the West Coast,
Yeah.
and they'd call at 5 o'clock in the morning. And nobody.
Well,
and they
think
couldn't
about
answer
what time they
because
call
nobody was
here.
working. Well, you know, they'd call, you know, and say, well, why, it's 8 o'clock their time.
Yeah.
You know, why weren't we at work?
There was one of the Aleutian Islands in Alaska at one point in time. They've since changed it, but when they first made Alaska a state, was on the opposite side of the international date line.
I think that's right. Yeah.
So at one point, Alaska was the furthest north, furthest west, and furthest east state. But then that didn't last long. They figured it out. And then they changed they moved the international date line so that all of Alaska would be on this side of the line.
Time zones are always fun. And then if the West Coast states get their way, we'll all go on to permanent daylight
Yeah.
savings.
I think that's stupid. Noon is supposed to be noon.
I don't care if they do that. I don't, I don't really have a preference whether they do that for standard time or daylight savings, either one, but it'd be nice to be where we don't have to change.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just say, I mean, they could just say, just get up an hour early in the summertime, you know, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Why can't we always go setting our clocks back? You know, that's the part I like.
You know why they started it, right?
Oh, yeah, it's for farming, I believe, so.
I thought it was supposed to save electricity.
Wasn't
Well,
that
no, that is, before then it was done, I think, because farmers would, you know, getting up early in the morning or something like that to do the farming and stuff like that, because it was, you know, so early in the morning. I mean, the light so early in the morning, I believe, from the old days anyway.
Well, I thought they kept it for saving candles because they said you could.
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
that was Benjamin Franklin's idea, I think. But
Well, I like it. It gives me a lot of time.
Well, I'm a sleep in the morning person, so I hate it. I've always hated it.
I always loved to get up like 5 and go to bed or go eat at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Work all stinking day, man. I can do a lot of hours. I can work on everything. Come home and you can still change your oil in the cars, mow the lawns.
Well, I still have tomatoes out on the tomato plant, so.
Well, you should. You got plenty of sun and plenty of heat.
Actually, it's on the wrong side of the house where it's not so sunny, but I got the volunteer. They're little.
It's on the Hilo side.
No, it's on the north side of the house, so it's shaded.
Yeah.
And you know, this time of year because the sun's lower, and but it's just the volunteer plant that just came up, and they typically run about 6 months, 7 months a lot of times. So
you have an avocado. You have an avocado, don't you?
I don't have an avocado tree here on the property, but there's plenty of them around. So
I used to like it when I was working because I could get off and in work in the afternoon and still have time to play 18 holes because it wouldn't get dark until like 9 or 9:30 at night, you know.
Yeah.
Around the summer solstice.
Forces me to get up.
Up here, we get it. It stays dark, stays light until 10 in
Yeah.
the summertime.
That's
'Cause we're
definitely
up-
in Seattle.
We're up to 47.
Oh yeah, Seattle would be, yeah. And
And
then,
I'm north of Seattle.
oh, that's right. You're around Everett. That's right.
Yeah, so.
I went to, I visited my aunt in Alaska in July. And
Sun's up all the time.
the sun would come up about 1:30 in the morning And then it would kind of barely go down again, like 11:30 at night around then, you know, and then it wouldn't really get real dark either. It would just kind of stay dusk the whole time. It would get dark. You could tell it was night, but you know, kind of night. But then the real bad part is it's just the opposite in the wintertime. It's
3 hours a day.
nighttime all the time. You know, especially around this time of year, around the winter solstice, you know, they don't get any daylight at all. And then
Well,
it's really
Anchorage
weird.
gets 3 hours of daylight. On the summer solstice is 19 hours and 24 minutes of daylight. They have these $19.24 parties. You know, you pay $19.24 and that everybody parties all night long.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've been up at Prudhoe Bay. And the sun goes down in January, beginning of January, it doesn't come back up until March. So it gets dark up there, but everybody works inside.
Yeah.
So it's all artificial light, and they encourage everyone to bring plants from home to give, you know,
To
some
see if
sense
you're
of-
still alive.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, just greenery in their central, you know, in their barracks building where they have the cafeteria and everything. They have an atrium that's full of trees with natural daylight lamps all over the place. So, you know, because people with that seasonal affective disorder,
Yeah.
they can really get badly affected. But my grandson has that. So,
Hey, listen, I'm gonna bag out, everybody.
me too.
So everyone have a good week. I'll be back next. What's those? We have records next week. So I'll have to take pictures of my record collection, I guess, Franklin.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
Sounds great. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you.
Good night.
Bye.
And I'm leaving too. I've
Thanks for
got,
coming, Linda.
Yes.
you're welcome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
been fun. And yeah, if I ever get down to Portland, I'll let you know.
Hey, Linda, I sent you that document.
Yeah. Huh?
I
Oh, thank
sent you
you.
the document, so it should be in your inbox.
Oh, I don't look at my computer every day, so
Okay.
the only way to get a hold of me is to
Good night, Bruce.
use my Gmail.
Bye, Bruce.
Right.
Anyway, I'm leaving also. Have a nice evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
You
Me
too.
too. I'm out too. I gotta do some
Yeah.
work.
Just one last question. You guys got snow in Portland or just in Seattle?
Yeah, we got snow.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Very
More
little.
coming tonight, and more coming on Friday night.
Yeah.
Kind of cold weather and 2 inches melts in the afternoon, comes and then freezes. Or freezes. Today, I think it only got about 34.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Yeah.
24 degrees right now,
Ooh,
and it's snowing.
It never got above freezing here.
No, it hasn't been above freezing for
Yeah.
about 5
Well,
months.
I knew it was in Seattle. I just wasn't sure if Portland was still that cold or not, but
I know
Yeah.
Vancouver's supposed to get down to 23 tonight.
It says it's 28 here now.
okay.
It's like out at the airport or something.
Not missing it.
Oh, it's nice and
Good for
crisp.
you.
I go out and get my scooter and shorts and head up the road. So
It keeps your lemonade cold when you're taking a walk.
I am right there with Dan. I'm just gonna shake my head at you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. I'm gonna head out too, so
Yeah.
cheers, everybody.
yeah, cheers.
Yeah,
Happy New Year's, everybody, too.
you
Oh,
too.
yeah. Happy New Year's.
Have a fun one.
Hey, Mark Richardson. Oh, he's-
Yeah.
Oh,
Almost. Yeah.
Before you go, I just want to ask you a quick question. We were staying in, I think we're the area that you live in, but how far are you from the US Postal Office in?
Oh, you mean the main one there in town?
There's one on, I think it's hard to read this map, 190, 180.
Let's see. I'd have to look at the map there. You say Highway 180, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually, see, if you find Kailua Kona, and if you were to look in Google Maps, for example, and look, actually, you can find me my QRZ page. I got it marked accurately. You can see my. There's no antennas to see in the house, but if you find Magic Sands, is on the coast, just south of town. I'm about 5 blocks away from Magic Sands.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were
But,
staying at a place that was just up the hill from there, kind of like halfway between 11 and 180.
Okay.
It's a real nice bed and breakfast place, and toured the whole big island. It was fun. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, yeah. You don't know what street or name of the place was?
No,
or-
I don't. It was too many years ago, and
Oh, okay.
but I'll look it up and catch you next time.
Yeah, but if you look at my call sign on QRZ, I've got where you can look on the the map, and you can it's right on top of my house there. You can see my solar panels and stuff.
Oh yeah, cool.
But actually, there's no antennas you can see because I don't I'm in a restricted neighborhood here, and I in fact I bought a little piece of property down south, and got an acre of land down there, which runs real cheap at the very south end of towards the very south end of the island. Got a little cabin and no restrictions, so I got a little tower up, and I got a remote station there, and because there's so much, I actually can get out pretty good from here, but the thing is, there's so much noise from all noise pollution from RF, RF noise pollution from everything. It's just a constant background hiss.
Can't be as bad as here.
Yeah, like everywhere.
Yeah.
So the remote station it's a lot quieter up there. It's not perfect, but and I have a small log periodic antenna for the upper bands, and I can not worry about stringing out wires and stuff and people seeing it and stuff like that. Where here I've got stuff kind of hidden, like Hogan's Heroes, and
right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So you got tunnels?
No tunnels there, friend. I do have a flagpole antenna.
Yeah,
it's an actual flagpole.
Oh,
And
really? There you go.
And I converted it to an antenna also, and
Oh.
I've got actually got an inductor on the top of it, and the birds like to perch on it. My neighbors think it's very cool, so.
It's a good way to disguise an antenna, huh? Put it in a flagpole.
Well, it is the flagpole. The flagpole is aluminum, and I put stainless screws to make sure all the sections are locked, and it's just the base I insulated. So, it's a regular vertical, and then the radials are just laying out in the bushes and stuff where they can't see it. So,
nice.
Yeah. All righty.
I know nothing.
That's right.
All right.
Sergeant Schultz, huh?
What was that, Frank?
Sergeant Schultz, huh? Isn't it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, yes.
I see nothing. I know nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of my friends. He actually moved over to the Northwest, but that's what he used to say. He was in another restricted neighborhood. He says, now you feel like you have to be Hogan's Heroes with the hidden antennas and stuff, with you got the antenna Nazis running around, in the HOA neighborhoods, so I don't have anybody looking around, but that it is written down in the covenants, restrictions and stuff. So
Over here in Milwaukee, they've got them strung way up. I mean, you can see them from miles away. These guys got huge antennas up.
Yeah,
So.
well, it's not in the restricted neighborhood, so.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But nowadays, almost every subdivision nowadays they write that in. That's just they just look at what somebody else has done and they copy it. So it's not a good situation. But all righty.
Bye, Mark.
See you.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye, Gary. Dan, how you been? Glad to see you're here.
Yeah, the pastor is taking the the week off, so we had no Bible study tonight, which then freed me up to come to this. So yay.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm glad to see you made it. What'd you think?
It was delightful. I mean, a little heavy on the plastic radios, but that's just me.
I try to make it more, I don't know, inclusive for everybody, but you know how it goes.
Oh yeah. So, how you feeling?
I was tired today. I just the antibiotics is just killing me. I'll be off of it tomorrow, but I still can't hear out of my right ear. So, and I got to go see a specialist on the 7th. So, they're giving up. My PCP's giving up on me. He goes, "Oh, guessing you do." It's been what 3 weeks now, and
Yeah.
so he's going to send me to a specialist, and so I got an appointment in on the 7th. So I guess I get a hearing test first. So it's like they don't believe me. I can't hear. I got to prove it.
Yeah. Well, David will be arriving on the 6th. And so the folks are looking forward to that big time.
Cool. Have they given him the radio yet, that Troy?
Well, that turned out to be a radio that Dad decided to give to Mother instead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When she saw what a nice job Mike did restoring it and all that, she kind of got attached to it, and one of these days it'll probably go to David anyway, regardless. It's just taking a long way around. So
that's a way to look at it, right?
yeah, for sure. Did you see those emails I sent your way during the
Yeah,
meeting?
I like that Emerson, that is that an 888?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of the mini versions of the radio.
I forgot Emerson had some of those what do you call it design, that random it looks like a random line design, I guess, or a random.
It's kind of like when those guys put a tarpaulin down on the floor and swing the perforated
Yeah,
paint.
yeah,
in.
exactly.
We'll have to look that up and get the official name.
Yeah, there's got to be an official name for that. But I know what's your favorite brand? Arvin did that a lot, right? I mean, even the tabletops and stuff had it. Some of those tabletops later had him, right?
Did they?
Around that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that would, now that you and I are kind of dwelling on that a little bit, I mean, it's a bit fascinating, and it could make an interesting collection.
Very, yeah. I like them. I mean, it's kind of interesting that they came up with that design. I mean, it's different than anything else, right?
Yeah, I think I've seen some lampshades and things of that, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some of those like fiberglass lampshades from that same period, late 50s, early 60s, had kind of like gold threading and that same kind of a random line.
So it looks like I'm getting a volunteer to do the become the sales committee person too, huh?
Jeez. Yeah.
Well, I guess I would be kind of interesting because I would like to switch it from Aurora to the club,
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Aurora's got a lot better visibility, but it's a bit of a drive for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it costs us, 3 times as much, but it does the table sales pay for that, and I don't know if we can.
Yeah.
People to buy tables at the club. That might be.
It used to be that we would sell out that whole building, upstairs and down, and so it had pretty good capacity for us. Because it's basically twice the space that the Grange has.
Right. But they've been complaining about a few things. They've let it kind of go fall apart. I mean, the building itself is not in perfect shape anymore. The ramp is bad. I don't know if you noticed when you went up and down it kind of sags on the inside there. It's pretty, it could collapse. So they said they fixed it, but I don't think they did. I mean, I think they just might have covered it over again. Or, I don't know. But
I don't know either. You know, Linda was talking about PSARA in August. That's on the third Sunday. So, if we wanted to do the deal with Fletcher, we could still do it on the second Saturday, because most years, second Saturday and third Sunday aren't the same weekend.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we probably need to look at maybe like taking the Speed Feldshaw thing in July and seeing if Fletcher has that Saturday open, and move the picnic up, something like that.
Yeah, I think that was great. I mean, it was a drive, of course, but I mean, I think it was well worth it. I mean,
Oh, I do too.
I mean, we just gotta, suck it up and say, hey, that's what we're
Yeah.
gonna do. And
Well,
the idea of having two clubs together, I think is a fantastic idea to me. I mean,
Yeah.
the more different people we get, the better. I mean, I think. What do you think? Otherwise, we're just buying and selling from each other.
Right.
And it's like some people you can buy from and you can pay, more money for, and other people you just like, well, I don't know. It all gets in, it kind of gets political kind of thing, right? I mean,
Yeah, I don't see. I thought it was great when they were batting about all of those ideas of people to engage with,